Chinese cyber threat groups have recently exploited a vulnerability in Microsoft SharePoint, raising concerns about the security of various organizations worldwide. This breach highlights the ongoing risks associated with software vulnerabilities, even after they've been patched. On October 22, 2025, reports revealed that these attackers took advantage of the ToolShell flaw, which was publicly disclosed and patched in July 2025. Their targets included a telecommunications company in the Middle East, several government entities in Africa and South America, a university in the United States, and a finance firm in Europe. Next, we'll delve into the specifics of the attacks, the groups involved, and the implications for cybersecurity moving forward. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. Timeline of exploitation events. In a concerning escalation of cyber espionage, the exploitation of the ToolShell vulnerability in Microsoft SharePoint by Chinese threat actors marks a significant event in the ongoing battle against cyber threats. Following its public disclosure and subsequent patch in July 2025, the vulnerability was quickly weaponized, with attacks surfacing just weeks later. On October 22, 2025, it was reported that attackers successfully breached a telecommunications company in the Middle East, leveraging the CV 2025-53770 flaw to bypass authentication mechanisms. This incident underscores the rapid adaptation of cybercriminals who often exploit vulnerabilities before organizations can fully implement security measures, highlighting the urgency for continuous monitoring and patch management. The scope of these attacks extended beyond the telecommunications sector. Government departments in an African nation and agencies in South America were also targeted, demonstrating a strategic focus on critical infrastructure and sensitive information. The inclusion of a U.S. university in this wave of attacks suggests an intent to infiltrate educational institutions, which often house valuable research data. Analysis by Symantec reveals that multiple Chinese threat groups, including Linen Typhoon and Salt Typhoon, participated in these coordinated efforts, utilizing a range of sophisticated tools such as Zingdoor and Shadowpad to deploy their attacks. The diversity of the tools employed indicates a well-resourced and highly organized approach to cyber espionage. Moreover, the attackers employed a variety of techniques to gain initial access, including exploiting SQL servers and Adobe ColdFusion software vulnerabilities. This multifaceted strategy reflects a growing trend among cybercriminals to utilize living-off-the-land tactics, which involve leveraging existing tools and systems to evade detection. In some cases, the attackers executed exploits like CV 2021-36942 for privilege escalation, further emphasizing the need for organizations to adopt a defense-in-depth strategy that includes not only patching but also monitoring for unusual network activities. The overarching goal of these operations appears to be the establishment of persistent access to victim networks, aimed at long-term espionage rather than immediate financial gain. As the landscape of cyber threats evolves, these incidents serve as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities that persist in widely used software and the necessity for organizations to remain vigilant in their cybersecurity efforts. The recent exploitation of the ToolShell vulnerability has far-reaching implications for a diverse range of sectors. Organizations in the telecommunications, government, and education sectors are particularly vulnerable, as evidenced by the breaches affecting a Middle Eastern telecom company, various government departments in Africa, and a university in the United States. The targeted nature of these attacks suggests that sensitive data, including credentials and proprietary information, is at high risk. The geopolitical landscape is also impacted, as these cyber activities may strain international relations, particularly between China and the affected nations. Governments may respond with heightened cybersecurity measures or diplomatic protests, potentially leading to escalated tensions. The involvement of multiple Chinese threat groups indicates a coordinated strategy that could complicate attribution efforts and responses. Furthermore, the use of sophisticated tools like Krusty Loader and Shadowpad demonstrates an evolving threat landscape where attackers are increasingly leveraging advanced malware to achieve their objectives. This trend raises critical questions about the readiness of organizations to defend against such attacks, especially those that rely on widely used software like Microsoft SharePoint. The consequences extend beyond immediate data breaches. They can lead to long-term reputational damage and financial losses for affected organizations. Companies may face regulatory scrutiny, especially if customer data is compromised, resulting in potential fines and loss of consumer trust. This incident underscores the urgent need for organizations to adopt proactive cybersecurity measures, including regular vulnerability assessments and employee training on recognizing potential threats. In summary, the exploitation of the ToolShell flaw not only poses immediate risks to specific organizations but also highlights broader vulnerabilities in global cybersecurity, emphasizing the need for collective action to bolster defenses against increasingly sophisticated cyber threats. As organizations navigate the aftermath of the recent cyber espionage incidents, it's imperative they take proactive steps to bolster their cybersecurity posture. First and foremost, a comprehensive assessment of existing security protocols is essential. This includes evaluating the robustness of patch management processes to ensure timely updates to all software, particularly those that have known vulnerabilities. Organizations should also consider implementing advanced threat detection systems that utilize artificial intelligence and machine learning to identify anomalous behavior indicative of a breach. Such systems can provide real-time alerts, enabling quicker responses to potential threats. Furthermore, enhancing employee training programs focused on cybersecurity awareness is critical. Staff should be educated on the latest phishing tactics and social engineering methods employed by cybercriminals, as human error remains a significant vulnerability in organizational defenses. In addition, organizations must prioritize multi-factor authentication across all access points, particularly for sensitive systems. This added layer of security can significantly reduce the risk of unauthorized access, even if credentials are compromised. Collaboration with cybersecurity firms and threat intelligence services can also empower organizations to stay ahead of emerging threats. By sharing information about vulnerabilities and attack patterns, organizations can develop a more resilient defense strategy. Finally, establishing an incident response plan that includes regular drills can prepare teams to act swiftly and effectively in the event of a breach. This plan should be regularly updated to reflect the latest threat landscapes and ensure all members of the organization understand their roles during a cybersecurity incident. By adopting these strategies, organizations can fortify their defenses against the evolving tactics of cyber threat actors and mitigate the risks associated with vulnerabilities like ToolShell. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals.